day, another power left-handed bat, another few million casually put into the offense. Good morning to you. Good Wednesday morning. And Christmas Eve and all that other stuff. I'm Dejan Kovacevic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. This is Daily Shot of Pirates, presented to you by our good friends at the Northshore Tavern. Ryan O'Hearn, 32-year-old first baseman / outfielder / DH, signed yesterday to a 2-year contract worth $29 million. That, of course, finally ends the franchise's ridiculous streak of not signing any free agents to multi-year deals since Ivan Nova in 2016. O'Hearn is fresh off a 2025 season in which, first off, for the Orioles, he slashed 283, 374, 463, 13 home runs, and 43 RBIs in 94 games. That right there earned him a selection to the All-Star game for the first time. He'd then be traded to the Padres, and for those guys, he slashed 276, 350, 387. The slug was down with just the 4 home runs in 50 games. He still had 20 RBIs. He still hit. The guy, he hits. Now, he'd never hit the way he did this past season. 803 OPS was a career high for a full season, anyway. As a rookie, he had a 950 OPS, which is insane. That was in only 170 plate appearances. 8 years in the bigs. This is a proven bat. To borrow Ben Cherington's own terminology the other day when he said what the Pirates were still seeking. And they got it. The price isn't bad. The term isn't bad. The value certainly doesn't appear to be bad. The positioning fit, I'm not going to be a hypocrite about this. I've been saying forever, get me guys who can hit. I'll find a place to stick them in the field. So I can't have it both ways here. But the positioning, it's going to take some massaging. Because although O'Hearn can play first base, he and Spencer Horwitz are both lefties, so you don't really solve the platoon issue with Horwitz. O'Hearn, incidentally, doesn't need to be platooned. He's more than capable of hitting from both sides. But it's worth repeating from my glancing mention earlier that O'Hearn's played a significant amount in the outfield. Either corner, but mostly in right. It's a nice pickup. He's a welcome addition. And as I put together for an episode about a week ago, I've been more in favor of doing this sort of thing where you say, okay, we're going to get Brandon Lau, we're going to get Ryan O'Hearn, we're going to get guys who can add up to runs as opposed to the one super mega solar explosion of adding a Kyle Schwarber. Now, it's funny, isn't it, how these things go? They get somebody, you're stunned, you look at the salary, and you're doubly stunned. You look at the stats waiting for some colossal and fatal flaw. Now you're triply stunned. But yeah, your next instinct, of course, is, who else? We're still in the cereal aisle, Mom. Can I have some Apple Jacks or something? Well, the cereal that you've gotten so far is probably more Raisin Bran-ish, meaning it's gotten you to the point, I think, where the lineup is at least competent. And I say that, and I'm going to mean this every time I say it, provided there's just some reversion to the mean for some of all these guys who regressed as badly as they did in 2025. I'm not leaving them out. I'm not presuming anything. But money comes up first. The projected payroll now is $89 million, which is exactly what it was, or really close to exactly what it was for the 2025 season. And by that, I mean the amount that was actually paid out. That figure exactly was $89.75 million. This projected figure for next season is $88.875. Like I said, really close. Also, Obviously, not an increase. I've reported to you several times, and beginning several weeks ago, that I expect the payroll to end up, based on conversations that are currently taking place and have been taking place inside 115 Federal, at around $95 million, $96 million. I've also reported that Charrington has the license to take it as high as 110 in the event that he has some extraordinary situation that would make a very significant impact on the lineup. Unfortunately, and this happens a lot, the reporting has been garbled into DK said they're going to spend 110, or wasn't he the guy who said last year that they were going to be at 100 and they weren't there? No, it wasn't me. It was them and me sharing it with you. The fact that they changed their mind is on them, not on me. But that leaves, some money that's still sitting there, regardless of which of those figures you expect to be the one that they'd carry into opening day or beyond, or set some aside in the event of a need at the trade deadline. And yes, I understand what I'm doing here. I'm treating the Pirates as if they're to be trusted with anything. They aren't. I'm treating the Pirates as if the GM is competent enough to put together something that would make the trade deadline relevant. He's not. But I'm also living in the here and now, and this is what's happening in front of us in the here and now. That's the money. The position, still probably looking at third base more than anywhere else. So if anybody is still thinking about big, Eugenio Suarez is still out there. Now, he's also still 34 years old. He's also shown recent modest peripheral signs of decline, but when you're coming off a season in which you just hit 49 bombs, you've got a ways to fall. From a fielding perspective, he remains very much a third baseman, playing there almost exclusively in 2025, split between the Diamondbacks and the Mariners. Who'd be the competition? Well, Seattle just this week reiterated its interest in bringing him back, but that sounded as tepid as every other time the Mariners have remarked on Suarez since the start of the offseason, and they've already let guys go and still didn't feel the need to bring him back. So the Red Sox are in. The Cubs are in. Or at least they've been in at times this winter. Alex Bregman's still available. There are some interesting Japanese options available. Crazy to be having this conversation. I know. It's not like they've done something super noble here. It's not like any of what we're talking about represents any increase in payroll, let alone a dramatic one. But everything from here, that'd be in the same scope as the names I'm just throwing out here at the end of this segment, yeah, that's some foreign territory. When we come back, J1Q. If you're looking for a great dining experience, look no further than Northshore Tavern. Located directly across Federal Street from PNC Park, next door to Mike's Beer Bar, Northshore Tavern is Pittsburgh's home for steak on a stone. Enjoy your steak finished on a hot lava stone in front of you, where you ensure each piece is cooked to exactly your liking. Or try their rotating selection of entrees, hot sandwiches, salads, and burgers, all while enjoying the ambiance dedicated to the great players and history of the Pittsburgh Pirates all around you. Come see why everyone's talking about Northshore Tavern and steak on a stone.
It's Gun Storage Check Week. Help prevent unwanted access to your firearms. No one wants their unsecured gun to be used in an accident, a suicide, or a crime. Use lockboxes, safes, and locks to secure your firearms. Learn more at gunstorage.check.org. That's gunstorage.check.org. Brought to you by NSSF, the Firearm Industry Trade Association.
I have a feeling I really opened up a Pandora's box yesterday with the lineup episode, but here goes with a new name. Jason Lynch says, so DK, after the latest pickup, does Ryan O'Hearn answer your question about batting fifth in the order? He might. He might. Listen, one thing that you can pretty much take to the bank as it relates to these players who've been acquired is they're going to be in the heart of the order. They're going to be 3, 4, and 5. They almost have to be. They bring you markedly more power than anything you were getting last season. And I put O'Neal Cruz's power in a separate category, not because of how far he hits the ball, but because of how rarely he's producing in any other way. So whoever you have at leadoff, and then you have Brian Reynolds in the 2 spot again. If you have O'Hearn and Brandon Lau and fill in the blank, that's probably 3, 4, and 5. And I'll repeat that I had Cruz in my lineup at 6th. Now, I have to say here that a few of you wrote to me after yesterday's show to lobby for Jake Mangum to be that leadoff guy. He's one of the players who came in that Mike Burrows trade, and he's fresh off a 2025 with the Rays in which he batted .296, and I'm referring to old school batting average there. That is not a number that a whole lot of people are reaching. So I get it. You have 3 home runs in 405 at-bats. That's not some dream scenario for your corner outfielder. He also stole 27 bases in 33 attempts, had a .330 on base percentage in general, and he made some things happen. I'm not pushing it, but I'm not dismissing it either. Said it yesterday, and I'll say it again. I'll take the highest on base percentage, and that would be Horwitz, .353, this past season. And also bear in mind, I'm really not trying too hard to get Connor Griffin into the top of this lineup. Everything that I've heard from the inside, and of course this kid can make this moot, but everything that I've heard from the inside, and this includes recently, strongly suggests he's going to see at least some time in AAA. When you're competing in A-ball and AA, you're facing other prospects. You're facing people who are around your own age. No organization really likes to keep older players around at those levels because of the perception, and I'm sure the reality to an extent, that you'd be blocking somebody who would have a future in the majors. Once you get to AAA, that's when you're seeing adults. That's when you're seeing starting pitchers who aren't even necessarily in the minors on merit. They're there because every organization understands that you need 8 to 10 starters just to get through a regular big league season. So with all due respect to everything that he's done, he hasn't done that. He hasn't really hit against the grown-ups. So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I don't know, if you're waiting for me to complain or whatever, because I think the guy should have lost his job 2 years ago and should have been ejected to the moon after this past season, it's not going to happen. I keep open minds about stuff. And that applies in both directions and both extremes. This offseason, so far, I have liked, except for the $8 million put into a lefty non-closing reliever in Gregory Soto. Didn't understand that then, don't understand it now. You don't pay that much for a relief pitcher who isn't going to be your closer. But the rest of this, no complaint. None. Not yet. Listen, last chance here to wish you a Merry Christmas. This program will be back next Monday. I want to thank everybody who listens to this show, who will send in the J1Qs, who's passed on the word to others to join in. And above all, those of you who have at least tried to keep me partially sane through doing this for yet another year. Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to your families. Enjoy the holidays the right way. Maybe even let out the tiniest little smile about the baseball club, if you can pull that off. See everybody Monday.